everyone for OneWrestling.com. This is Bill Apter, and welcome back to another competitor showcase right here on OneWrestling.com. And when I talk about competitor showcase, I'm talking about another competitor that will be competing in the annual Super 8 tournament this year, April 13th, at the Greater Newark, Delaware Boys and Girls Club. And the Heart Killer, Chris Wylde, welcome to OneWrestling.com.
How you doing, Bill? It's an honor
Hey,
to
I'm
be on
good.
here with you.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to have you here. And I might as well get something out in the open. Early in my career, and a lot of people know this, there was a man named Stan Stasiak who had a taped fist, just like this, actually. And
Uh,
he wasn't a heart killer, because you're known as the Heart Killer, Chris Wylde, but he
right.
had he had a heart punch. I had an injury, by the way. That's why this happens to be on here tonight. But heart killer, heart punch. Tell us why they call you the heart killer.
Well, the Heart Killer name was actually something that I came up with. You know, in wrestling, you got heartthrobs, you have heartbreakers, you have the Heartbreak Kid. Um, Me coming in at 5'6" and almost 200 pounds, I'm the little guy that once I beat you, it's gonna kill your heart.
Got it.
So I figured Heart Killer, you know, because if a guy has his heart set on beating me, when I beat him, that'll definitely kill it. So I
Okay.
figured it was something good and unique.
Yeah, it is. I like it. I like it. As long as you don't get me with the heart punch here. So let's do a shorthand biography. First of all, you're 5'6" and your weight.
I'm 197 pounds,
Okay.
legit right now.
And where do you hail from?
I was born in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Yeah.
But I've lived in Dover, Delaware my whole life.
Okay, now tell us
So
how you broke into the business.
I was trained by a guy named Jeff Rocker who worked for Jim Kettner's ECWA
Sure.
about 7 years ago.
And by the way, Jim
He had,
Kettner, in case there are people out there who don't know, if they've been under a rock or on another planet, was the man who was the originator of ECWA.
right. Um, that was about 7 years ago. Jeff had split from ECWA and started his own company. I did some training in Germany after that with a guy named Denny Steger.
Sure.
Uh, And after that, you know, I bounced around from little indies and was kind of almost ready to call it a career until I met J.J. Dillon. After meeting him, and he saw me wrestle, he gave me a push. And after that, I met Jim Kettner, and here I am today.
Well, now, what was JJ Dillon's role in your career?
Um, like I said, I was bouncing around from little indies,
Yeah, yeah.
not really making much of an impact. Um, I decided to start a career as a correctional officer here in
Oh,
Delaware.
yes, yes. And for
And
those of you
for
who
those that
don't
don't know,
know, for those fans who don't know, is that after his successful career, the Hall of Famer J.J. Dillon is a corrections officer in Delaware. So,
right.
oh, that's great. So that's where you met him.
Yeah, and I waited a year because I didn't want to be, hey, I'm a wrestler, you
Yeah,
know,
of
and
course, of course.
scare him away.
Oh, so you worked side by
Whereas,
side with him?
no, we saw each other in passing.
Okay.
Um,
You were
he,
not a
I
criminal.
worked,
So,
no, not at all. I worked the
okay.
midnight shift. He would come in the morning. We'd kind of pass each other.
So this is a
One day we were actually
unique story that you had this job and it was a great way for you to get close to someone in the wrestling business.
right, and like I said, at that point, I was kind of just about almost done. You know, you go from so many these little companies that you work guys that aren't trained right, and it kind of brings you down a little bit.
Yeah.
So I decided to start this career as a correctional officer, and lo and behold, I meet one of the most famous people in wrestling ever.
Did you know he
Um,
was there when you took the job there?
I always heard rumors.
Yeah.
Everyone always said, hey, J.J. Dillon works up at the prison. And I was like, yeah, right. You know, that'd be like Mickey Mouse working at the grocery store. You know, like it's
Right.
not something
Yeah.
you would
Yeah.
see. Um, lo and behold, he was there. And one day we just ended up getting locked in a room together, basically. And I had a good couple-hour conversation with him. I was working a local indie a couple weeks after that, and he said he'd come down and watch me. And after
That's
that,
great.
he had a long talk with me, and man, it really turned my mind around on the business.
So you've stayed on the indie circuit. I know you've wrestled all over the world. How did you come to get into this year's. Have you been in a prior Super 8?
Yeah, I was in the 2010 version.
Okay.
With the guidance of JJ and him kind of pushing me, I got in the gym, worked on my body, started training, studying my craft more, and I started sending Jim Kettner footage of me. Every time I had a match, I'd send Jim the footage just to get a tryout match. That's all I wanted. Just I
That's
wanted to
great.
show him what I could do. One morning, he calls me and asked me what I'm doing on July 13th, and I'm like, I'm free here. I'm thinking I'm finally getting my tryout match. And he says, well, how would you like to be in the Super 8? And I almost fell over. Thought it was a joke,
What
like one of
that
the
was
boys were doing.
2010.
10.
Okay. Wow. That's great.
So
So
I thought it was a rib, man. I mean, Jim Kettner calling you and not just asking you to be part of his company, but the biggest tournament
oh yeah.
that's known in the United States. I mean, I was just happy to be there at that
Oh,
point.
of course. By the way, and Jim Kettner knows this, an amazing Jim Kettner imitation. So when he called you, it was probably, so how'd you like to be in the Super 8, right?
Yeah,
He
pretty much
liked
dead
it.
on.
He liked it. He liked that.
Um,
But so since then you've been working a lot of different indies, etc. Tell us about and now you're in the 2013 version.
yes.
Um, and how did the call come on this one?
Well, uh, after the 2010 Super 8, Kettner invited me to stay on as a permanent part of the roster. Little did I know at that time I'm actually the last guy that he would invite to do that because he retired. So I stayed on, and the new owner, Mike Tartaglia and Booker Joe Zanol,
Yes.
uh, you know, uh, pushed me, and this year I beat Papadon, who you'll be talking to a little later for the ECWA title.
Unless, of course, you people are watching this when I talk to Papadon first. So it depends when they're watching
Right.
this. Yes, but go ahead.
Right. Um, so I ended his, I think it was 560-day reign as champion, and
Yes, yes.
because of that, and other things, Joe Janol gave me the call and said, "Hey, we think you're deserving of a spot in this year's Super 8.
That's
They want to make
great.
it big, and
That's
yeah,
great.
so here
So
I am."
now, so now you have an opportunity to look in the camera right now and tell the other seven guys why you, Chris Wylde, the heart killer, are going to win the Super 8 this year.
Well, you see, here's the thing. I don't want these other seven guys to fool themselves. They can say all they want that, it's not about the press. It's not about the glory. Uh, that being in the Super 8 is special, which it is. But, it's about the press and the glory and making it to the next level. When Jim Kettner created this tournament, that was what it was about, taking the next step. In 2010, I was happy to be there. You know, um, Now I'm ready to win. Uh, like I said before, I work in a prison. I work through hell. I walk through hell every day of my life. Winning this Super 8 is the opportunity for me to step out of hell, to move on, to make it to the next level. That's what the Super 8's all about. And, I'm the heart killer. Well, they're going to have to kill me to stop me from winning this tournament. I think I
Okay.
deserve it. And I'm going to show everybody what I'm made of.
Okay. It's again April 13th, 2013. 13 is being used twice. This time could be your lucky number. Heart killer, good luck. And for you fans, tell everybody where they can find you, by the way, online.
Well, you can find me on Facebook. Just search Chris Wylde, or on Twitter at the Chris Wylde.
Okay.
I also have a YouTube page, promos, matches, all sorts of cool stuff on there. Just search for
Great.
Chris Wylde on YouTube.
And also the ECWA website as well.
Absolutely.
All right.
Got to put that in there. www.ecwaprowrestling.com. You can find out all the history about me and the company, and we got some good stuff coming
Sure.
up besides.
Sure. It's an they say it's an East Coast thing, but it's years ago the Super 8 became a worldwide thing because everybody likes
Yeah.
to hear about that tournament. So good luck
And
to you, Chris
if
Wylde,
I